out here at the Americana again with Amber.
Actually, we're at Charlie's Steak, Ribs, and Ale.
Oh, that's right. well, what I meant was we're here with our friends from the Americana.
Right.
And we're out here enjoying. How about that steak? How's yours?
It's awesome, but the ribs are what I like best.
Is it really?
Yeah, Charlie's Steak, Ribs, and
How about
ale.
the smell? Like, I can barely do this.
I know, right? It makes you want to go eat lunch.
It's all I can think about
I know,
right now.
for sure.
Oh, wow. I couldn't wait to get here today. We just finished up this meal, and the fifth course is coming out.
That's right.
And we're out here with our friends from the number one hits of the 60s. So you guys are at the Americana this year, right?
That's right.
Just down the street.
Yes.
Upstreet.
Actually, just kind of across the street.
Yeah, I can almost see it from here.
You can, actually, if you're sitting on the deck out here at Charlie's.
Yeah.
It's more than just number one hits of the 60s. And 50s, too. We added that a couple of years ago.
I did see that.
This is our third year, I think, doing the 50s music.
You were just tired of all the 60s music and just needed to add the 50s.
No, we never get tired of 60s, but so many 50 shows had gone by the wayside, and our clients kept coming up to us and saying, man, we love the 60s, but we wish somewhere we could hear 50s music, too.
Well, yes, I think that all the time. So, I think you should have offshoots and have like the 80s, 90s.
Just wait.
Someday.
Be patient.
Stop telling our plan to everybody. What are you doing?
Well, you know what a lot of people don't realize in Branson is that if you are 60 years old now, what does that mean? So 40 years ago, you would have been just getting out of high school, college. 40 years ago
would have been 76.
Yeah.
1976,
So, you know, you got to think about that.
That's
a lot of people, we get people at our show because we have a band that plays dinner music, and they were doing Steely Dan. They do a whole Steely Dan medley. And we had people complaining that they were doing this young kid rock and roll. And they had to say, that's from like the mid 70s. That music is 40 years old.
Yeah. We had an 80-year-old woman it was just yesterday, I think, that then it made me really start thinking. She's 80, and she said, this was my era. So, I mean, it is. Time is flying.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me about the show, though. So what exactly? So it's geared to 60-year-olds. Is that what it is? 50s and 60s?
You know what?
I'm totally lost on this name
It's
now.
really fun for everybody. What's really cool is we touch on 111 songs in 2 hours. We go back to a high school dance, and the cast changes clothes 18 times. So, I mean, it's really fun. It's very fast paced. Yeah. And it's pop 60s. You know, people always wonder if we do that psychedelic weirdo 60s music. And I guess as close as we get to that would probably be Jefferson Airplane.
And if you don't like that, it only lasts 10 seconds.
Yeah, 10 to 30 seconds.
With 100 and some songs.
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's really fun. And people ask me all the time, like, what's your favorite part of the show? And it's hard to tell them what my favorite part of the show is because there are so many different aspects. I mean, I like the opener because it's fun and exciting and it kind of really builds up the show. At the same time, I like the next part of the show because we've got some really fun costume tricks in our 50s segment. You know, we go from black and white to Technicolor in 12 minutes.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah,
that's neat.
It is pretty cool, and it was really fun. I got to work with Jan Krager, who used to costume for the Radio City Rockettes.
Oh, wow.
And on developing those costumes and the tricks and the color changes and stuff. It was
So you do like costume changes, like real fast?
Oh
costume changes
and the final one happens on stage, you know, that kind of
that's
thing.
neat.
Yeah,
I like
that fun
that
stuff.
stuff.
And then there are places I like. I like doing like our second half opener because you get to wear a really cool gown and I get to sing a real power ballad like Where the Boys Are.
I know, it's like dress up
So
playtime every
it
day.
It is. It really is. It's like every kid's dream.
Because I'm doing a circus theme in my show, like a time traveling steampunk circus thing, and people are like, "Oh, why'd you decide to do?" I said, "Because I get to dress up. Like I can't do that anywhere else,
That's
right?
right. That's
like,
right.
I can do whatever I want on stage, and you have all of these songs and stuff that you can work with. But people ask you your favorite part of the show. I don't do that. What is your least favorite?
It's not a part of the show that's my least favorite. But what's really funny is, people go, "Man, you're always flying. Everything goes by so fast. And how do you change clothes so fast?" And I think probably the most challenging thing for me in our show, it is the quick change. They're so quick. And Matt, my husband, the producer right here, he every year he goes, "I don't like talk. I don't like talk." So he's the MC. He does talk some. I talk some, but
He doesn't like to talk, and he's the MC.
Right. Well,
So-
but it's very. He doesn't like talk in the show. He
I
he
see
doesn't
what
want to
you-
slow
yes.
down the pace of the show. He wants it to be boom,
Keep
boom,
it
boom,
moving.
boom. So I think maybe I have a couple of changes that I think, man, once the season gets going, I'll settle into that, and it won't make me nervous. And but No, that never happens. Like, I have a couple that are just crazy, crazy, crazy fast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there can't be any mistakes. You can't miss grabbing your zipper. You can't miss snapping your snap. You just got to make
But
it.
it happens.
You always make
It
it.
hasn't happened yet?
Well, I've maybe, had to kind of give it a little trot out onto stage a time or two, but most of the time.
Well, every now and then a zipper's broken and you just can't turn your back to the audience.
Right.
Something happens like that, a wardrobe malfunction, yeah. But for the most part, no. I mean, we try to set it up and practice and rehearse and make sure that those things will happen. But it's just they don't really ever get any easier. People ask all the time, like, how do you change clothes so fast? And I tell them it's just plain and simple. It's fear of being on stage naked.
Exactly. Because they do that at our show. Because there's a medley in our show. And the funny thing is, years ago, I have video where they came out with their dresses inside out because they had accidentally put it on inside out. But the audience can't really tell
I don't know.
But we know, things
Yeah.
aren't zipped right or backwards.
Yeah.
And that's the stuff I love.
Right.
'Cause,
I know, of
that's
course.
awesome.
Well, we do have fans that come back to the show like every other day or every week. We've got a
Really?
core
What's
group of
that
people.
like? I don't have
Oh, stop it. You sure do, I bet. But it's really funny because only they go, hey, I noticed you guys were wearing a different pair of shoes,
Yeah,
or
right.
something. Like,
Well, that's kind of what I was saying about your least favorite part, because everyone I've talked to, Pierce Arrow and all the other shows, there's certain songs that people want in the show. And if you take them out, it's not that you don't like that song. Maybe you're just tired of doing it. You're trying to change it. And like a routine that I do in the show. Okay, I do something for 5 years. I decide to change it. And then they're like, where's this routine? I say, well, it's been 5 years.
Yeah.
Which is,
and who knows?
like
Maybe
a
in
quarter
5
of
more
my
years
life.
you'll resurrect it. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, right.
It's about it. Honestly, it's about your philosophy, and our philosophy is it's about our audience. Honestly, and we tell our cast because there is a tendency to get bored with what you're doing and not do the things that they expect you to do. But as long as your philosophy is that we're enjoying their enjoyment.
That's right.
Then it's fun. We have fun every day.
That's right.
You have to. And that's kind of what I think makes Branson unique, in that the people that come here versus, let's say, Los Angeles, New York, Vegas, people are used to entertainment there. They're very jaded. When I work there, they have no problem pointing out things that you can fix, or everyone's a critic there because they go and see a show every weekend. Where Branson is different because a lot of our guests save up all year and they get 1 weekend or 1 week. And this is what I tell people that come to our show or performing. I say that guy sitting in the back row wasn't somebody that planned way ahead. He probably saved up, and he's back there with his 2 kids. This is the big weekend with Dad.
That's right.
And this could be the only show these kids see all year long. They're coming here, they're going putt-putt, they're going out to eat, he's taking them back home. And so you have to remember that.
That's exactly right.
So you have to play to the audience.
Yeah, and it's the first time they're seeing your show. We're kind of lucky in the sense that 60s and 50s music, I mean, we talk about we could probably rewrite the entire show every year with different songs, and it's still probably going to play to everybody in the room because there's just so much good music from that decade,
and
those 2
we
decades.
Get kids all summer long, families, and you'd think, well, they're too young, but their parents and their grandparents all have satellite radio. All they have on is 50s and 60s. They hear it in commercials. They know the songs too.
And if you've watched Shrek,
Well, I had a
older.
conversation, not over here at Charlie's, but about a week ago with Barry Williams, best known as the star of Mega Piranha.
That's right.
The Sci-Fi Channel. But he brought up an interesting fact that the music from the 60s and 70s, which he does, is now in all the kids' cartoons that are out,
right.
all the movies.
That's right.
And even when I watched Forrest Gump years ago, suddenly all that music came back. I remember Andy Williams doing a story, telling a story on stage over at his theater, just down the street here from Charlie's. And he would talk about a song that he did, the girl from I don't know.
Ipanema?
Yeah. And how he did that song as a little jingle or something real quick. And so then it's used in a commercial that was out a few years ago for a Fiat or something.
Oh, yeah.
And England. And everybody's requesting this new song.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't realize it.
Oh, it's really funny. Yeah. When we first started this show 14 years ago, my daughter was really young, about 5, and the Rugrats were Born to Be Wild. She would be like, Mom, That's your show, you know?
Yeah.
And you'd be walking through the department store and she would hear the Beach Boys playing. And she'd be like, Mom, that's from your show. And I'd be like, yeah, I know.
That's what the twins do now. They're 4, so about the same age,
perfect,
so,
exactly. Yeah, and it's funny, like Miss Piggy for a while on Pizza Hut was like doing Boots Are Made for Walking. You know, it's definitely a 60s tune, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, it's everywhere, and it's good music, and it's timeless. And that's what people come through the crowd through, you know, we greet everybody after the show every day, and they come through. And I just can't believe the reaction we get from people that truly lived through that decade. I mean, I didn't live through that decade, but I love it, and I never get tired of performing it. That's why I've done it for 14 years, and I don't get tired of it. And she says, you know, I just loved it. I can't believe all the memories that came flooding back, and I knew every word when she started singing them, and you know, and it's just a really cool experience when people walk through the line and almost like emotional. I mean, we've just had this really fun, upbeat show, and people are kind of almost teary at times. You know,
a friend at another show said music is the best time machine.
Oh, that's right.
Something along that. And I know you guys are big into the buses.
Yeah,
because you're always out greeting the buses.
We're excited. Well, we're big into everybody. You know, it's like it's funny. People ask us sometimes if we have VIP seats at our show, and I said, you know what? Every seat is a VIP seat.
You just took the form of a unicorn when you said that. It was beautiful.
But I'm not kidding. I mean, we want everybody. I mean, we want people that come on coaches to feel special. We want people that come in their own cars. I mean, like you said, people have saved for this experience, and we want to make sure we create a really great moment for them to take home and want to come back and do it again.
The minute they walk in the door, we greet people in the lobby and talk to them before the show.
That's what makes Branson different, right? Because I've seen entertainers that come here for a limited engagement, and they find that strange. They find it very strange because after a show, the people want to come up and shake your hand, and they just want to tell you about their kids. And like I have perfectly normal conversations with people about what they did growing up, and
you know, I'll be really honest with you, Matt and I. We have been a part of the show for 14 years, and 7 years ago we actually bought the show and took on management of the show. And in the beginning we were on a pretty shoestring budget, so we would greet people at the door and seat them out of necessity, you know, because you know, there wasn't much of a budget for ushers and stuff. And now what we've found is as we've grown, now we have a full staff, and we have ushers, and we have, you know, all those things that you need to function as a business. And we could sit back in the dressing room and wait until it was time to go on stage. But what we found in doing that over the years is that the connection you make with the audience member before the show starts is so cool, and it's so important and so valuable. And for us, it's so much more fun to perform for someone you know. You stand and you visit with somebody in the lobby for a few minutes, or even the moment, if we happen, I mean, we'll step in and grab a ticket and take someone to their seat still, you know, and
people remember all of that.
The things you can find out about someone from the moment they're at the door to your theater till they get to their seat is incredible. Yeah. And they love it when you remember talking to them at the end of the show. And you're like, what did you think, Jan? Did you enjoy it? You know? So,
and you remember their name. Because I used to do a lot of corporate gigs. Tons of them in Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And I was always under the impression, because I would get invited to, hey, come down and meet with us and hang out at the hotel bar before the whatever. I'm not a big bar person, but I thought, no, that's kind of weird. You know, I feel weird. And then an entertainer told me, no, you go down there and you sit and you have club soda if you have to.
That's right.
And you sit there, and then when you do your show, you'll see the difference.
That's absolutely
because then they're your friend, and they want
and they're cheering for
you. They're your cheerleader out there, right?
I do have to admit, there are times when I step on buses.
It's obnoxious.
And I do tell them,
obnoxious.
My name's Amber. If you need someone to cheer for during the show, go ahead. The rest of the cast loves that.
So throughout the show, she comes on, and we hear in the audience, "Go Amber!"
Yeah. Hey, we would do that because you used to work at the Showboat.
Oh yeah, long time ago.
And so we do the medley out there, and so I used to do that. In the pre-show, the cast wouldn't be paying attention. Right. I do this 40-minute pre-show, and so I would say, it's so-and-so's birthday today, so whenever they come out at this moment dressed like this, stand up and clap and scream.
That's awesome. A great idea. I'm going to give it away like that. That's so cool.
Yeah, we did. They didn't want us to make a big deal, but let's do this and that. and so you would see the audience like watching for it, and so they would pay attention for the show and wait for that moment when Steve Parrish comes out dressed as a lobster.
I love it. That's so cool.
And then he wouldn't know what in the world was going on.
I
funny.
love that. That's
So,
a great idea.
yeah.
I'm going to
Yeah,
use
we
it. I'm
did.
stealing
Do
it. I'm
You might as
stealing it.
well.
I'm stealing it
That's
today.
funny.
So you now you run the entire show, right?
We do.
Yeah,
We do. We own our show and we manage the show. And
A lot of people dream
and,
about doing that. So what would you tell those people?
I would tell people honestly, it's the hardest thing I've ever done, especially being an entertainer. I have a theater degree and a music minor. I mean, being an entertainer, and Matt can tell you how he feels about it in a minute. But being an entertainer, there was a huge learning curve. I mean, like heavens, I had to learn how to email.
Yeah.
I know that sounds silly, but I'd always
Ask
been
your daughter.
a singer, and I have used her a lot. And my husband's really super smart. So, but there was a huge learning curve in learning how to sell and market your show. I mean, it's one thing to sell yourself to someone hiring you to perform and then just showing up to do your job and collecting your paycheck and going home and and just being excited about what you're doing. But it takes on a whole new meaning when you have to look in the mirror every day and go, how's it going?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's your fault. Okay, that's your fault.
Yeah, because when a lot of shows start out, you have to do everything. Like you were saying, you have to be the usher. You have to help with tickets. You have to help with buses. I've seen people cleaning the theaters after the show.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't realize that.
I always tell them that everybody, Matt has such a Sam Walton mentality. It doesn't matter how well we do or how many people we hire. Every day after the show, I have to tell him, you cannot be cleaning the theater in your suit. And he's like, fine, I'll take my jacket off.
I won't ask anyone to do something I'm not willing to do myself.
That's exactly right.
And the one thing is that a lot of entertainers want to start a show and stuff like that, but the honest truth is most entertainers are not very good at business because they're creative people. And what a lot of them don't realize also is that based on what you've said, I think it's obvious that you have to be passionate because if you're running a show, it's your life.
That's right.
Honestly, it is.
Yeah, I get asked that all the time. Have you ever thought of having your own show? I'm like, no, thank you. Because I did for a while when I was touring, and I had to take lights, and I had a sound guy, and I had, to go in several hours early in the morning and set up everything, sound check, like all this. Now you show up, you do the show.
Well, so to sum up your question,
That sounds pretty good.
it's been one of the hardest things I've ever done, but it's also been one of the most rewarding.
Yeah.
And then just last year, a whole new. Every time you feel like you've got something under your belt and you've figured this system out and how you want to do things, something new happens, and then the theater fell in our lap. So now we manage the entire Americana Theater. So so that was a whole new new experience too. But it's worked out.
Well, you
really
have some
well.
great shows here.
Oh,
too.
sure. Yeah, we've got Patsy Cline and Friends, and with C.J. Newsom and Terry Sanders, and we've got Barry Williams with 70s Music Celebration, all doing a
Mega
fantastic
Piranha
job.
guy.
Yeah, Mega Piranha. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I'd love to give him a hard time.
Didn't he do a
about
Bigfoot
that.
thing too, or
He
something?
did. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
He's a terrible cook.
He missed Sharknado, though, didn't he?
Oh, he didn't get to do that.
we'll have to get
No,
him
they
in
got
on that.
Hasselhoff, didn't they? Oh, sorry, Barry.
I'd have to appeal to that German demographic.
That's right.
He's going to give us a hard time about this if he listens to this.
Right.
Well, he's just figuring out a cell phone. He submitted it to me, so
okay.
we're safe for a decade
Oh,
or so.
good.
It's
Well, yeah.
But there have been a lot of changes. I've been here for 11 years. You've been here for a little bit longer than that because you've been doing the show. You said for
Like
14.
20-something years.
Yeah.
You started when you were 6.
Right, yes. I've been here for 20 years. I started when I was 6.
But there have been a ton of changes to Branson. Some of them good, some of them bad. But a lot of our demographic has changed. As we were saying, the people that are retired now were growing up in the 80s, not 80s, but mid 70s to mid 80s and stuff. That's the era they remember. So our demographic is changing a little bit. So now we have a lot more attractions, amusement type things here in Branson. We have all the zip lines, the escape rooms. Have you done those? You need to do that.
Yeah, we might still be in one if they wouldn't let us out.
That's right.
That's how bad we were.
That's funny. I think it's a weird premise. Hey, bring the kids out. We're going to lock them in a room and watch them on the camera and see if they can figure out how to get out.
That's right.
Actually,
to
the worst
Branson.
part, the worst part, I think those kids could have been my kids. They were so young that were looking at the cameras while us.
They put
Older folks were in there.
Older folks in a room and said, "Try to get out," and we were like, "Okay."
I know they were laughing at us.
Can we get a clue? Can we get a clue?
No, I saw it on YouTube. It was hilarious watching you guys. They had like the Benny Hill yakety sax that were playing. No. Yeah. Inspired. But I mean, it's changed a lot, and the perception of Branson is changing a lot. They're trying to attract younger people in, which they're doing, and they're trying to point out the other things that we have going on, the lakes,
Right.
and the shopping and all that. But,
there's lots to
but
do there, yeah.
shows right now are going through a weird transition because we have the internet.
Yeah.
Have you heard of this?
Oh,
this internet thing?
Vaguely. Vaguely. What is the internet? Could you Google that for me?
Gurgle it. We'll gurgle it.
Gurgle it for me.
But that, and I even do a bit. I have changed my act to kind of making fun of the fact that we have the internet now, and people's attention span is so short.
Yes.
And I pointed out, I'm like, you three people down here paid $50 to sit down there on Facebook because you've been on Facebook the entire show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doesn't it drive you crazy?
Yeah, to see the iPads all glowing in the dark. And
When people are taking pictures on iPads,
Oh,
I say
yeah.
that is the new fanny pack.
Oh.
Basically.
they're huge. Yes.
Yes, it just looks ridiculous to me. You know?
That's funny. You mean you think a fanny pack looks ridiculous on people?
Of course I do.
Years ago, I had one. That was a long time ago.
Oh, Matt and I met.
That
I
with
had to
his
tell him he
Crocs?
needed to stop wearing his fanny
Never
pack.
had Crocs in my life.
He got his
Thank you very
Nokia
much.
out of his fanny pack.
Well, I did have a Nokia. I'm not gonna lie.
So, that's hilarious.
Yes, I did.
Did you wear Crocs? Did you?
Never. No,
Crocs,
thank
no
you.
Crocs.
You know, we can make fun of those all we want, but way back, I lived in China for a little while.
Oh, yeah?
I did a whole stint in China and shows, and I saw these people wearing those Croc shoes around China, and I'm like, what are these things? Like, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, the Chinese, they got a few people there. They got like a million or so.
Yeah.
And so, so I bought a ton of stock in Crocs, and that has financed my life.
I was
you
going to say, I wish I'd
kidding me?
invented
I am
them.
not kidding.
That's
That's
awesome.
incredible.
When it
Good for
first went
you.
public, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Crocs
done.
and Under Armour are my
Oh,
retirement
That's
plans.
incredible.
So, yeah.
Good
I-
thinking. I'm going to call you tomorrow
Yeah,
and talk about her
investments.
retirement.
Really?
Yeah,
How
investment
about
tips.
that? That's 60s music.
That's right. There you go. There you go.
Really,
Yeah.
it's really big. But marketing in this town is also quite a challenge, is my point, because there's so many other
Unusual.
things to market against.
Right.
And that's kind of why we started the podcast, was to help
nice.
market a lot of things that we like. We only interview things that we enjoy doing. So,
Oh, that's so nice.
so how about that? Or people that pay us enough.
Okay,
So.
well, your check is in the mail.
Well, you're buying this meal
Oh,
over
that's-
here at Charlie's Steak
Oh,
and
there you
Ale.
Well, we
There
probably
you
just
go.
need to thank Chaz Stinnett for that.
For these huge steaks. Look at this.
I
It's
know.
huge. It's like the size of a toilet seat.
Yours is huge. My ribs were amazing, though. And you know, they're unlimited on Tuesdays and
I'm sure
Fridays.
there's a limit. There's probably a limit.
No, it's all you can eat on
Well,
Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm sure there's got to be a limit somewhere, right?
I've tested
ogling
it.
the food,
I've tested
people.
it. Okay.
I will say Branson is unusual because it is more competitive than many of its other cities and things like Myrtle Beach, Pigeon Forge, places like that. You talk about here, you've got 100 shows. You don't have nearly that many in those places. If a zip line has success, there are 4 other zip lines.
Within a week.
That
Yeah,
pop
within
up.
a week. That's right. And that's good for the consumer, but it makes it very, very competitive for the business.
It does.
You know, but it does offer a great variety.
And I think that kind of goes back to the people here save up and they come and they only go to things that are good.
Yeah.
They only go to the shows that are good. So we have kind of a natural selection thing
Yeah.
going on. Survival of the fittest here. And well, obviously your show's surviving.
Oh, so yeah,
Yeah.
well, surviving and growing. So
Yeah, every year we've grown
and we like to
for
think
6
hopefully
years.
we're doing something right. So trying to provide good entertainment for people. And one thing that's really special to us too, I'm actually one of the board members for the Branson Veterans Task Force, and that's something that's very special to us too. Our veterans, we feel like the '60s was a decade specifically that the veterans weren't honored in a very good way. I mean, they came back to some nasty heckling and food being thrown at them, and I mean, just nobody said welcome home. I mean, we've talked to several guys that have said, right before they got off the plane at the airport, like someone might come up to them and say, hey, you might want to put on something different so people don't know who you are when you get off the plane.
Yeah, we get that.
I mean, it's horrible. And so we do feel like it's our privilege to get to honor the veterans from the 1960s, especially. We honor all of our veterans, but we feel like it's our privilege to get to do that for those folks and just say welcome home to the guys that never really got welcomed. And what's neat is we do a veteran segment in our show where when we have a specific unit come to the show, we have them send photos in advance of their
that's
unit
fun.
in action, or then and now pictures of guys and stuff like that. And we drop those videos into the show instead of using our stock video that we use on a daily
Custom
basis.
video.
But we customize the video to
Oh,
that
that is
specific
really
unit.
cool.
Yeah. And that's been a cool experience too, because sometimes you get cheers for certain things and you get tears for others.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
so
We get a lot of really sentimental people that come out after the shows.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that's really unique here in Branson.
Yeah.
And people ask me
The
whether that's true or
patriotism.
not. You know, when I travel on cruise ships, they're like, "Is it true that every show does this?" I'm like, "Pretty much, yeah. That's what people like."
Now we don't drop a flag.
No, well, we try to do things that are absolutely
Key
specific
to
and
the
pertinent
decade.
to that decade
Yeah.
and the Vietnam War veterans. We've got a group, what, was it 10th consecutive year they've come to our show?
That's right. The 12th Cavalry Regiment has come
Yeah.
every year, and they get bigger every year. And
Yeah.
you know, it's the biggest challenge is trying to find new photos of the new guys that are coming. You know?
right.
So, but
And it is pretty nice to see these tough old guys, and they're tough old guys getting emotional.
yeah, yeah.
You know, I mean, that's
tough. They've
that's
been
how
through a lot.
important it is to them, and how grateful they are that Branson,
Yeah.
not just our show, but Branson appreciates them that way.
And it's a very loyal group of people, like I said. And this
Yeah.
coming year will be their 11th year in a row to have their military reunion in Branson and come to number one hits of the 60s and 50s
Yeah.
too. So
Oh, that's great.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so Branson is really unique for that. But there's a
Right.
lot of unique things about Branson.
Yes, there are.
Well, you know, they tried to get gambling here for a while. I don't know your position on that, but mine simply is that I'm not much of a gambler, okay? All right, because I think it's just a tax on people that can't do statistics.
Right.
However, if we had it, then we became a third or fourth rate Vegas or Atlantic City.
Agreed.
That's true.
You know? And not that I'm totally against it or anything like that, but I say Branson is known for this. Like,
Yes.
why change that?
Yes.
Because the minute that you open it up, then you're going to have your Caesar's Palace moving in, your Bally's, like all of these big companies coming in. All the small shows are gone. They're going to want to do their own thing.
I think
That's
you
right.
lose what Branson started. I think you lose what Branson is all about if you do that.
And if you want to do that, we
Go-
have little bus groups, right? That
Right,
go.
if you wanna do
I've
that.
seen these day trips.
Not
Yeah,
that
go
far
to
away,
downstream,
yeah.
go to,
Yeah,
run,
it's
go
like an
to
hour
go to
away.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Fly to Vegas. You can do that cheap these
Yeah,
days,
you're
right?
welcome to go to Vegas.
Yeah, go to
and
Vegas
stuff.
and do that stuff. But if you come to Branson, I think you should come and expect to do something you can do with the whole family. I mean, expect to do. Well, I expect to do something. You've never heard that
No,
before.
I know what you're
you
saying.
should come. Should come. I mean, that is one of the cool things I think about Branson is that you can sit with your 2-year-old kid in the audience next to your 92-year-old grandmother,
And the kid will
there's
cry
some-
the whole time.
Yeah, but I don't know. They seem mesmerized by our lights and costume changes. So
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know. No, but what's cool is you've got things in Branson that just can really bridge the gap between all ages. So it's kind of cool if you've got teenagers that are sort of smug and you don't know what to do. And what can you do that's going to be fun for you and fun for them? Go to Branson. There's stuff to do for everybody, and they're going to think you're the coolest parent ever when you take them to see a show and they go, "Wow, that was your music. That was pretty cool."
Yeah, right.
Or you take them to zipline and they go, "Wow, I can't believe you would zipline, Mom, Dad."
Yeah, right,
Whoa,
exactly.
that's
Extreme
wild."
racing. and
Yeah,
all that.
right, exactly.
I think it's
Or
funny when they
go-karting.
hear a song and they're like, well, that's my favorite movie song from Megamind or from Kung Fu
Right.
Panda or whatever. That's neat that you're doing the music from whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's really fun.
That's
All right, so I always like to tell people at the end of the interview here some suggestions of things that you guys like to do for fun. Obviously, you like Charlie's here, and how
We
could you
do.
not?
We do.
I know.
Yeah,
The
delicious.
atmosphere is great. Yeah, a few years ago, there was a leap day tornado, and it took out the building. So everything at Charlie's is brand new from the ground up. So, and it's just a nice environment. The staff is friendly. The food is great. You can't
Yeah.
go wrong. And
So you like Charlie's?
And
Like to eat there.
I do. We do. We have lots of friends in other shows, so we do like to go see other shows.
Yeah.
I mean, and stuff like that. But during the summer, we
What do you
like
do
to go
with
out on
the
the
kids?
lake.
What do you do with your daughter?
With my daughter. With my daughter. Oh, let's see.
Tell him how old though, because at that age,
Well,
they hardly want to do things with their
trust me, I
parents.
know.
She's 17.
Jade's been on the show.
Yeah. She's 17, so she likes to do a lot of things with her friends these days. And also, she's discovered that when she works, they put money in her bank account.
Whoa.
I know. So she might be too sick to go to school, but she's not missing her shift at work. So,
Right.
but when I do things with Jade, I guess, mostly, we do stuff like go to the movies or grill out at home.
Got the new
we're
IMAX.
kinda-
Have you been to the new IMAX theater? thing?
Oh,
Not in the
They
last
completely
couple
redid
of months,
it.
but that's what we heard.
I haven't been. Tonight we're going to go and The Jungle Book comes out, the new live action.
that'll be
Oh,
so
cool.
good.
But I guess the new theater has like all these fancy VIP
Yeah.
seats that
Yeah,
Nice.
we do like to do movies together and stuff. But I think my daughter, we like Walking Dead. We watch Walking Dead
Oh.
together.
I
So
just
as far
had
as
like
doing stuff
a
in Branson,
20-minute conversation with Barry Williams about Walking Dead. We're nuts about
and I
Walking
just
Dead.
missed the intro of that What Fear the Walking Dead. I'm so sad.
Oh.
But I know.
He can tell you what happened.
Don't tell me, don't
won't.
tell me. No, yeah. So as far as doing stuff in Branson, it's fun. I know Jade likes to go to Andy's Frozen Custard and eat, ice cream with her friends. There's a place over in Hollister called Vintage Paris. It's kind of a little hideaway place, which that's kind of fun to know stuff like that. People ask us where we eat, and we like to go out to Hollister to a little place at Old English Inn, Black Horse Pub. I mean, just little tiny out of the way place. There's a little place that's sort of I would call it a renovated dive bar. The Cheeky Monkey is just out toward the dam and stuff.
Yeah.
So cute.
They're
and the
great
owners
out
have done
there.
a
Get
great
cheeky out there.
they get cheeky. But they've done a great job of just revamping the place, and it's got a great fun, atmosphere, and they're so nice.
We don't do it often, but we love the spa at the chateau.
Oh yeah. The spa at the chateau. Not often. That's special.
That's a
Not a
special
spa.
occasion, but
He knows.
well, she
I've
is,
had
for
3
sure.
massages in my life.
goodness.
One of them was forced because I had I had ruptured some disc in my back. So they said,
they
well,
had
you
to
need to
have
do
it.
this for a therapy thing.
Yeah.
One of them was a gift at the chateau, and I upset the poor girl because I asked her to wear gloves when she touched me. Because I didn't know where she had been.
Maybe not the thing for you then.
No, and then another one was a very awkward one that I had on a beach and stuff.
Oh,
That was,
Well, Matt made the mistake when he was courting me of buying me a spa package at the chateau. And it was all downhill from
No, I
there.
hear it's great.
No,
Yeah.
but
Well, now every birthday.
birthday, Christmas, anniversary.
But it's
just,
easy.
you
You know
know.
what to get her.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm just not a germaphobe.
No,
That's
Kinda sounds like you
kind
are.
of like a germaphobe. That's why I did not greet you with a kiss on the lips.
Oh, that was
But
nice.
yeah, I was talking to Matt.
I know.
But I just,
Right.
whatever. But the chateau is great. We like to
Yeah.
eat out there.
Oh, yeah,
That's
the
my
food
new
out there
favorite
is
thing
good,
because it's
too.
close to the showboat, so I
Well,
can
and
run
the
and go.
oh
good
yeah,
point.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the view is incredible from there too. So,
But there's a lot to do here. I mean, there's a lot of
There
new
is.
things to do, and
yeah.
a lot of the shopping and all that going
Right.
on.
We'll
and
go to the
puzzling.
landing.
yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
I'll
Just
go to
walk
the
around.
landing,
Hang out
yeah.
because I live right down there, so we're always
Right.
that's where we go. That's our go-to is
Yeah.
Cantina Laredo.
Oh,
which
love that.
I can't believe they're not paying me to say that because every podcast we come back to Cantina
Oh,
Laredo.
Mercy.
It's
yeah,
the
it's good.
best
It's
Mexican
really good
food.
food.
It
Yeah.
is. It's incredibly
We like
good.
it.
But yeah, there's so much to do in Branson.
It's
Of
sad
course,
I can tell you everywhere I like to eat.
that,
I know, yeah.
that's our thing is we love, and we got the new brunch that I was telling you about. So you
Oh,
got to
yeah.
check that out. So
Yes.
at the center stage there.
Oh, right.
But yeah, there's a lot of great places to eat here. and
Absolutely.
That's our thing. When we travel, we always look for our favorite restaurants. So-
Right,
Yeah.
and you ask the locals where they go. That's
Exactly.
important.
Yeah.
That's
You know what? We do a survey on the website all the time. Your favorite place. You know what they always say? Olive Garden. We like Chili's. We like. I'm like, what?
You can go to those anywhere.
Oh,
I can't.
that's why we talk about Charlie's and Dana's barbecue and all those places that in Black
Yeah.
Horse Pub.
And center stage too.
No,
They
no,
have
no.
Oh,
Now
Center
we have to order more
Stage, yeah,
steaks
with
here.
Bill and
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, no, Bill Kitchen and Leah, they do a great job.
Yeah,
over
they
there
just
at Center
redid the whole
Stage.
place.
I know,
It's incredible.
I know,
Yeah, it's
and
insane.
the food. I have never had bad food at Center Stage.
There's some places I just can't go. Nothing against the places like Denny's. For somebody, we were just having a discussion about that because I don't think people go. I think they end up there.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Oh, sure.
But the weird thing in Branson is that I went there for the first time, and all these people kept coming up trying to get me to go to their shows, and they were like walking around with guitars and
Yeah.
stuff, and it was.
We don't do that.
We have
We don't do
never
that.
done that, and we never will.
So look for number one hits of the 60s and 50s 2 rack cards, or look us up
Yeah.
online.
Well, you're right in the middle of
One
town.
hits of the 60s.com because we're not going to approach you at your table when you're in town.
good.
No,
That's good.
leave you alone.
But come out and see the show. What is the schedule this year?
The
for
schedule, we do-
2016.
2016, we do Monday nights at 7:30, and then we do Wednesday through Saturday at 2, and in the fall we pick up Tuesdays at 2 as well.
Oh, that's
starting
good. So
in
you have some
September.
afternoon shows and you have some evening shows.
Yeah, well, we have
going
one
on.
evening show, which is 7:30 in the evenings.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, so you get all the
on
different
Mondays, and actually every show we have a pre-show that starts about 10 minutes to showtime, which is really fun. So you don't want to miss that if you're coming to the show, because we have a game show and we give away a bunch of prizes.
Really? I'm going to come do that.
You better. You better.
Yeah. So that's cool. You guys
Yes,
get your nights free. So that's
yeah. Oh,
nice.
yeah. We love it. We love
Yeah,
it.
that's great.
Yeah, we chose that when we started the show. When we took over, we were matinees, and we kind of learned that we really liked it because my daughter was again young and in school, and so we left being done
that's
by
great.
4:30 or 5.
I was
and,
matinee for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh no, evening's the place to be. So I moved to evenings, and you have no life.
I know. Well, and people asked us all, why aren't you doing night shows? And I said, we don't want to.
I know, it used to be great. You show up. I used to leave the TV, and I lived down at Point Royale, right down there. And so I would leave the TV and everything on and be like, I'll be right back. And I'd run and do the show, and I was back in like 2.5 hours. It was like running to the grocery store.
Yeah, we love it. So.
Well, that's good. Well, come out to number one hits of the 60s and 50s.
Two.
Right.
50s too?
And
52?
52.
It's just
T-O-O.
52. T-O-O.
Number one hits of the 60s and 50s too.
And come out to
Exclamation
Charlie's
point.
here.
Yeah, please do.
And I think we should go get some refills
Yeah,
and stuff.
and tell them number one hits of the 60s.
They sent you over
Christopher
here.
James
They all
sent
know
you
you.
over.
They
right.
saw you pull in your
That's right.
car. Yeah, they all
for our
recognize.
bright yellow 1966 Plymouth Fury 3.
That's
right.
awesome.
Or our 1964 Mercury Monterey. Or
Okay, it's not a
right.
car commercial.
oh,
This is not comedians in cars.
they're
This is-
fun.
yeah.
They're fun cars though.
I'm not a car guy.
Clowns
so-
might come out of them. I don't know. Well, that's if we're getting out, I guess.
But thanks for talking with us, and come out to Charlie's and come out to the Americana Theater and see all the shows that they have that we're featuring here this week and last week and next week here. And thanks for listening to All Things Branson.